Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be going over the entire topic of Python strings. So if you want to be a Python programmer and learn everything there is to know about Python programming, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos that I upload. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. So today we'll be going over what is a string and the strings in Python. So strings in Python are surrounded by either single quotation marks or double quotation marks. So hello, as you can see right here, with single quotation marks is the same as hello with double quotation marks. An easy way to display strings is using the print function. So notice here I have single quotation marks, and when I click run, it prints out hello YouTube. If I have double quotation marks, it prints the same thing. So it doesn't matter if you use single or double quotation marks, it's still the same. Just make sure that you stay consistent with whatever type of quotation marks you use. If you use single and then double quotation marks, you will get an error. So always make sure to stay consistent. Okay, now we're going to go on to assigning a variable to a string. So assigning a variable to a string is done with the variable name followed by an equal sign and then the string. So as you can see here, I've created two variables. A is equal to hello, B is equal to subscribe. So as you can see, I have put quotation marks around the variables. When you are creating a variable and the variable specifically is a string data type, you need to make sure to put quotation marks around it. That's how Python will identify that this variable is assigned with a string. So when I click or when I run this, it prints hello and subscribe. So what that basically does is that it'll take this variable, read it, and then print out the string that we put in quotation marks. An important thing to notice here is that whenever I'm printing, I don't put quotation marks around the A. I don't put quotation marks around the A. What this is doing is it's saying print the string A. But we do not want to print the string A. We want to print the string or print the variable A. So we just leave it without quotation marks. But make sure to put quotation marks when you're assigning a string to your variable. Okay, multi-line strings. So what are multi-line strings? So multi-line strings are strings that are usually more than one line long. So as you can see here in this variable that I created up here called A, it's just one line and one word. Here it's like a paragraph. I have one sentence, enter, another sentence, enter, and then another sentence, enter. So when I click print B, it prints please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Also don't forget to hit that like button. So what this is basically doing is it's taking this entire multi-line string and just reading it and then printing it out. So whenever we're creating a multi-line string, make sure you're using 3 double quotes at the beginning and the end or 3 single quotes. If you watched my Python syntax and comments video, you would have seen that it's the same exact way when creating a multi-line comment. So if you haven't checked that video out, go ahead and click and go ahead and watch it. Okay. So make sure you're always using 3 quotation marks at the beginning and at the end when creating multi-line strings. Now we'll move on to a rather complicated, but after you get the hang of it, pretty easy topic, slicing strings. So you can return a range of characters by using the slice syntax, specifically the start index and the end index, separated by a colon to return the part of the string. So example here. I have a variable called B and it's characterized with hello world. So as you can see in the print function, I'm not using an ordinary just print B. I'm using the symbol that is characterized with the list data type, and I put the numbers 2 to 5. So what does this do? So what this will do is Python will assign each character in this string a number. So H will be characterized with 1, E will be characterized with 2, L 3, the second L 4, O 5, the comma 6, capital W 7, and so on and so forth until the exclamation mark. So what this will do is it'll take the second letter. So it'll say, okay, what's the second letter? H is 1, E is the second letter. It'll print everything from the second letter, not including the second letter. An important thing to remember is it will not include the second letter all the way to the fifth character. So if we could calculate that or find that out, it'll be H is 1, E is 2. So from 2 onwards, not including E, it'll be L3, L4, O5. So it'll print LLO, or low. As you can see, that is our output. So Python does not include the first number you put. If you want to print out LO without the H, you can go ahead and put 1, which means Python will characterize, okay, H is 1, do not include 1, but print everything from 2 to 5. So you get LO in there. Okay, now we're going to learn to slice from the start. By leaving out the start index, the range will start at the first character. So as you can see here, we have character. If we just want like a certain characters in the middle of the word, we can't use slice from the start because it would start everything from the start all the way to the letter. So as you can see here, we'll print hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will print hello. So an important thing to remember is when you just leave a gap here, Python will automatically infer or assume that that value is 0. So it'll print out from 1 to 5. Slicing to the end. So slicing to the end basically is the same thing as slicing from the start, except you have a start character and then Python will print everything to the end of the string. So remember, whenever you're slicing a string, the first character or the first number will not be included. So it'll print H, E, which is E is 2. So it'll print everything from low to world exclamation point. Just like I said, that is our output. So an important thing to remember with Python slicing strings is that the first number will never be printed. It should always start from the next one. You include 2 just to show that where Python should start slicing the string and do its output from. Okay, negative indexing. So negative indexing is basically you get the characters from O in world position -5 to, but not included, D in world. So negative indexing basically, instead of starting from the beginning, it starts from the end. So if we take a look here, it starts from O, which is position -5. So everything is reverse in this. So if we go back, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So O is -5 position. So everything from -5 to position -2. If we go -2, we get 1, 2. D is in position -2. But remember, since everything is backwards in negative indexing, we'll include the first letter, but not include the last character. So this will print oral. Because O is 5, R, L, but D is -2, but we do not include -2 because of negative indexing. Okay, hopefully that all makes sense. Let's move on to modifying strings uppercase. So the upper parentheses function method returns the string in uppercase. So if we have A is equal to hello, comma, world, when you print A dot upper, and make sure you always add the parentheses for the upper function, or else it'll give you an error. For example, if I just print this, it's built-in it'll just give you an error. So make sure you add the parentheses, and everything that you in the string will print as an uppercase letter. It's just basically using caps lock, but without rewriting your entire string. So it's a quicker way to just use caps lock. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to use the lower method, which returns the entire string in lowercase. So A dot lower, and then make sure you have the parentheses to indicate that you are calling the lower method or function, and go ahead and click enter, and everything in the string will appear lowercase. That's easy enough. Now let's move on to remove white space. So before we get into it, what is white space? So white space is the space before and or after the actual text. And very often, or In my case, almost always you want to remove the space. So the way you do it is using the strip method or function. This removes any white space from the beginning or the end. So this should be actually and. Beginning and the end. So beginning and the end. So if we go ahead and click enter, it prints hello prints hello world. So if we do not include the strip function, what happens? We get a space before and after. As you can see, there's a space right here, and then there'll be a space right here. So that's why you include the strip. Sometimes people accidentally include white space in their strings, but the strip function is an easy way to get rid of it. See, as you can see, there's no white space left over. Okay, that's how you remove white space using the strip method or function. Now, how do we replace a letter in the string? So the easiest way to do it is using the replace method. This replace method replaces a string with another string, or a character with another character in the string. So as you can see, we have a equals hello world, and if we type print a, which is the variable, dot replace, and then we have the parentheses for calling the replace function, and then we have the letter that we want to replace, which is always going first. And make sure to put it in double quotes, because if you do, it's basically trying to call a variable and replace a variable, which the replace function or method cannot do. So that's why we start off with the letter we want to replace in the string, which is H. Then we put a comma to call the end, and then we put the letter we want to replace with the original letter. So if we normally print A, it will print hello world. But if we click run, it should print Jello world, because J will replace the letter H. And as you can see, Jello world is printed. That's how, in case you can't find your exact variable or string that you have assigned a variable to, it's very easy to just remember the variable name and just go ahead and click a.replace, and then quickly just type up the letter that you want to replace it with. So that's how you replace a string. Now let's move on to splitting a string. So the split method returns a list where the text between the specified separator becomes the list items. The split method splits the string into substrings if it finds instances of the separator. So what this basically means, so if we go ahead and click run on this, you can see that it prints a list, which is hello, comma, world. So what this does is it just takes one entire string and makes it into two separate strings. So sometimes that's useful, sometimes it's not, but Python has a method or a function for any circumstances. That's why it's a great language to learn. So if we go ahead and click print a dot split, and then make sure you always put the quotation marks, comma, quotation marks. That will make sure that you have that will make sure it splits into a string, and you have a comma, which is just there for readability, and so you understand how the Python has split your string. So the split string just basically turns your string into two different strings, which is sometimes useful. Okay, string concatenation. Now this seems like a very hard topic just because of the word concatenation, but trust me, it's very, very easy. So to concatenate or combine two strings, you use the plus operator. So concatenate basically means to combine or to put together. So merge variable A with variable B into variable C. So let's see what I did here. So as you can see, I created variable A, which is hello, B, which is hello world, and then C equals A plus B. And if we go ahead and print C, it prints hello world. So an important thing to remember is that strings you cannot just put hello and then put A equals hello, B equals 35, and then put C equals A plus B. You're going to get an error. You cannot combine a string and a number. It's basically saying, okay, what is hello plus 35? Like that's not possible for us to solve, right? So that's why Python does not know how to do that. So you have to convert the integer into a string. So that is how you concatenate or merge two variables together. So if you do the split string up here and you make two variables or two strings, you can just concatenate them back together to form one solid string, which is hello comma world. Okay, now this looks a little odd, doesn't it? How do we get to make this with a space? So to add a space between them, just add quotation marks. So you put A plus quotation marks, make sure you put a space there, which indicates a string with a space, and then you just put B. So whenever you put a quotation marks with an empty or just a space in there, it indicates a filler. So it's just an empty string. So it'll insert an empty string or a space. So that's an easy way to get a space and to make it more neat with your concatenation. Okay, string format. So this is what I was talking about. So as we learned in the Python variables video, which you can go back and watch it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of the videos. As we learned in the Python variables video, we cannot combine strings and numbers like this. So if we have age equals 36, and then txt variable is my name is John, I am, and then plus age, and we click print txt, we get an error. So what this error says is can only concatenate strings, not integers to strings. So like I said above and previously, you cannot concatenate or combine a string with an integer. So how do we overcome this? We can combine strings and numbers by using the format method. The format method takes the passed arguments or characters in your variable or string or print function, formats them, and places them in the string where the placeholders curly brackets are. So use the format method to insert numbers into strings. So what this basically means is that we have the variable age still. We do txt equals my name is John, comma, and I am, and make sure you put curly brackets. So what this curly brackets is, it's like a placeholder that will format your integer into that will format your variable integer into the string. So if you do print txt.format and put age, which is calling the variable, and will format this. If you don't have curly brackets and you have like square brackets, this won't work. This won't work either, because the format function only works with curly brackets. So make sure you have curly brackets so that your function or your program runs perfectly. So if we go print txt.format age, this will format 36 into a string, insert in the curly brackets, and give you an output. So that is how you can combine two strings, two integers, and a string together. Okay, so now the format method takes an unlimited number of arguments and are placed into their respective placeholders. So what this means, if I have quantity 3, item, so when it says item no, it just basically means item number 567, price $49.95, and then my order. So I want curly brackets or a placeholder, pieces of item placeholder for placeholder dollars. So this means is you can just go ahead and put print my order dot, which is your variable, dot format, and make sure you have the parentheses. And then you put respectively how you want it to go. So the first placeholder will go with the first variable that you call in your format function. So the first placeholder will be replaced with quantity, the value for quantity. Then item will be replaced with item number, and then the third set of placeholders will be replaced with price. So if you click run, it'll say I want 3 pieces of item 567 for $49.95. So that is the cool and interesting way that the format method works. You can use an unlimited number of arguments, and just make sure that you correctly correspond each placeholder with the correct variable when using the format function. Okay, but there's also another way to do it. You can use index numbers to be sure the arguments are placed in their correct placeholders. So this is the exact same as above with the variables, but instead I rearranged this. So as you can see, I put I want to pay $2 for 0 pieces of item 1. So whenever you're creating a list, tuple, or any data set with multiple quantities, Python always starts counting from 0. So this will be 0, this will be 1, this will be 2. That's an important thing to remember. So as you can see here, I just put I want placeholder pieces. So it just gets corresponded here. But here the sentence is completely different. So if you want the last value in the format function to show up in the placeholder, the first placeholder, go ahead and put the index value of 2 in there, which is the if you have 3 items in your variables in your format function, go ahead and put 2 as there, because 2 is corresponding to the last value. So 2 will be replaced with the value for price, 0 will be replaced with the value for quantity, 1 will be replaced for item number. So if we run this, I want to pay $49.95 for 3 pieces of item 567. Okay, now we're moving on to the last topic, escape character. So to insert characters that are illegal, quotes illegal, in a string, use the escape character. So what I mean by illegal is that whenever you're trying to insert like a dialogue, whenever you have dialogue in when you're writing an essay, you put quotes in there. You can't put quotes to indicate a string and then put another double quotes in there, like right here. You can't do that because that's like uncalling the string and then creating this as a variable, which you cannot do in a string. So an escape character is a backslash followed by the character you want to insert. An example of an illegal character is double quotes inside a string that is surrounded by double quotes. You will get an error if you use double quotes inside a string that is surrounded by double quotes. So if we go ahead and click run on this, you get invalid syntax. You cannot have quotation marks inside of your string. So to fix this problem, you use the escape character. So the escape character allows you to use double quotes when you are normally not allowed to. So the backslash key on your keyboard is right under the absolute value, so you don't click slash, you just put a double slash. You just click the key, and then it'll say, we are so-called Vikings from the north. If we go ahead and click run, oh, I gotta print it. So if I do print txt, and we go ahead and click run, it says we are so-called Vikings from the north. So we are so-called Vikings from the north. So what this basically does is put a backslash. Okay, backslash. What do I want to put after that? Quotation marks. What do I want to put after this? The end of the quotation marks. So backslash is like an escape character or like a get out ticket of illegal. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It would really benefit the channel, and it would also benefit you because you would get the new videos that I upload, and you would be able to watch and learn more content from my channel. That's it for today. Peace.